Welcome to podcast number 9, Choosing the Right Diet for You. You know, Christian, there are so many options out there, and people get very confused. They don't know which one's going to work right for them. Are they setting themselves up for failure before they even start cutting out a whole food group that they might really need every day to be energetic? So let's discuss some of the different options and what people are thinking now that we're coming into a new year.
Yes. And this is very important. Choosing the right diet for you. I should say the right nutrition plan. I don't like that word diet. There's a lot of stigma around diet. Diet, people think about, oh, this is going to be stressful. I'm not going to get to eat anything. It's going to be all salad and boiled chicken breast, which is not how it has to be.
Or they think that it's short term. I'm going to diet for this period of time. I'm going to lose the weight, and then I go back to what you were doing before. But then people put on the weight and then even more. So I like to say meal plan when I talk to my clients. This is your meal plan. This is your plan for life now. It's not for a short period of time.
Yes. And make no mistake about it, there are phases or activities where dieting is necessary, such as bodybuilding,
right,
or any of the physique sports, or weightlifting, if you have to make a weight class, wrestling, all those things. But if we're talking about being generally fit, you want a healthy lifestyle. Now, the first subject is...
What is it?
Drum roll, please. I like that. Establish and write down your goals.
Good point.
I am going to say this a second time because it is that important. Round 2. Establish and write down your goals. Now,
right.
Goals are your target. Without a target, you have nothing to hit. So you have to know what you're doing. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain muscle?
Right.
Are you getting ready for a Spartan race? Are you just trying to be healthy and fit on a daily basis and live your best life?
Or maybe you're coming up to some kind of health crisis and you have no choice now and you have to get yourself fit. If that's the case, you want to pick something that's manageable and doable. And like you said, baby steps so that you can incrementally hit small milestones along the way versus looking at the large picture. Well, I got to lose 30 pounds. Well, that's a lot of weight. Why don't we take it in increments of maybe 5 pounds or, something along those lines.
Exactly. And the acronym that I love for that is called SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. Specific meaning you have to determine how many pounds you want to lose if weight loss is your goal. If you want to gain muscle, how much muscle do you want to lose? If you want to run a race, how long is that race going to be? Or how many miles are you going to run per day or per week? Everything needs details. It must be measurable, and that goes into the same degree. You have to pick a form of measurement. Is it pounds you want to lose?
Right.
Is it inches on your waist? How do you want to measure that? It must be attainable. Right? You don't want to say, okay, I was a couch potato today and tomorrow I'm going to run a 100-mile Ironman.
Right.
That is not attainable for you at this point. You have to work up to that. And time-based is one of the most important parts is if you just say, hey, I'd like to lose some weight or change my body in some way, and it'll happen eventually. You'll never get there.
Right.
You've got to create a sense of urgency. By this date, I will do this. No exceptions.
And you have to really dial into whatever program, lifestyle, meal plan you decide to adopt. You can't say, well, I'm going to eat what I want on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, I'm going to follow a plan. Because that's not going to work. Because you'll take a couple of steps forward, and the weekend will come, and you'll have your eating fest, and you'll take 2 or 3 steps backwards, and you'll get frustrated. And then what people do is say, oh, forget it, it's not working anyways, I'm just going to go out and have a pizza. So you have to be willing to make some sacrifice, too, because it's going to be hard and challenging, and there'll be times when you're feeling hungry, and there'll be times when you're tired and you're stressed, and you'll want to just dive into the drive-thru and grab whatever it is, a burger, French fries, and you're going to have to fight those moments. I mean, that's what's really going to be the determining factor if you're going to be successful or not, is accepting the fact that there are going to be hard times and that people are going to try to derail what you're doing until you look fine that you don't need to diet. So there's a lot of outside environmental factors that come into play also.
Exactly. And another important aspect is you need to consider your lifestyle. Now, this is a part that I have very deep conversations with my clients, the men over 40, because if you have someone who is a businessman and for some reason they just can't seem to get things together, and, you know, as a coach, I might be thinking, well, why are they not following? But as a smart coach, you have to dial back and think, okay, this guy is probably going to client dinners. He's always on the road.
Traveling. And
having meals prepared with him and or being able to prepare meals is not always possible. Right. And even if you're in a hotel with a kitchen, he might have gotten in late from a day of work and you got to get up early for meetings tomorrow. So how do you make this work for you? Is going out on a weekly basis, like Linda had mentioned before. If you want to go out every Friday and Saturday, you still have to plan. You know, I know a lot of people like to think that at some point, I just want to let go and just do what I want. But that is not how life works. It's almost like at your job, right? Oh, I'm just going to let go and not talk to the customers and help everyone out today because I just don't feel like it.
Right.
Not going to work. Quick way to get fired. And the same thing with dieting, or I should say with your meal plan, is you have to plan around the weekends. So if Friday and Saturday night, maybe you and the wife are going out, or you're going out with your friends, whoever it is, figure out where you're going to go in advance. One, it just helps save time because you're not thinking, you know, you're in your group of friends. Hey, where you want to go? I don't know. Where you want to go? I don't know. Where you want to go? And then you spend 10 minutes just wasting time. But you figure out where you want to go. You decide what you're going to eat
beforehand.
And then now that you have that established, you know how much you're going to eat. So I'm going to get burger and fries, and that is it. Right. I'm not going to pick from my friends' plates. I'm not going to get 2 orders of fries. I'm going to get this, and that is it. And like Linda also said, which is extremely important, is you can destroy your entire week by eating out on the weekends because your meal plan is your whole week. Yes, you're trying to win the day by day, but you can easily eat hundreds of calories over on the weekend, and that puts your entire week over on calories, which can halt or stop fat loss. And then you might think, like Linda said, why isn't my plan working?
Right.
Well, you destroyed it on the weekends by not eating smart.
Right. And I want to share a restaurant story, actually, because everyone that's listening, many of you, and those of you that don't, know that Christian and I compete, and we're nutritionists, and, you know, we live the lifestyle that we preach to our clients. But, you know, we also have to go to events and go out to eat and whatnot. And I had dinner recently with a friend who picked a restaurant. And I looked at the menu ahead of time because that's what I do. And I tell my clients to do the same thing, like Christian mentioned. And the menu was very rich. I mean, the menu was wonderful and the restaurant was amazing. But every dish was just a sauce and lots of garlic and I already could feel my GI tract sort of getting grumbly because I don't eat that way. I don't eat that rich with sauces and creams and lots of garlic and things. So I knew that probably wasn't going to work well for me versus having to say to a waiter, which I've done and I have no problem doing, saying, can I have this grilled or put sauce on the side, which I always recommend to my clients as well. Then you dictate what you put on your food versus having it bathed in a sauce that could be very high in fat. Anyways, I talked to my friend. I said, you know what? This is a great restaurant, but there's really nothing on this menu that I can have, that I can enjoy. So we picked another place, and it was awesome. And I was able to have a very simple burger that I wanted and an order of fries. I had a salad to start, and it was perfect. And my weight never changed the next day. So it's those things when you go out, like Christian said, you have to look at the menu. You have to really understand where you're going to be and feel good about what you're going to order. What we said before in a previous podcast, Christian has a saying about being prepared and success. And that's exactly what you have to do. You've got to look at the menu and know before you walk in what you're having. When you're armed, you're ready. If you walk in without a plan, it's going to be bad.
Exactly. And Linda was referring to the 5 P's.
Yes, that's it.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Exactly. And it's the truth.
Yes. And again, with my men and also the rest of you, ladies included, who are busy, let's say you're also the main caregiver for the kids and you are just always going. And let's say you also are working and you've got work earlier in the day. You come home, you got to take the kids to practice. You got to get them ready for practice. You got to feed them, blah, 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 blah. And you are always going and you're up early and maybe you get a workout in early because you're responsible.
Right.
And you just don't seem to have the time to do that meal prep that everyone seems to be able to do, right? Or that you'd love to do.
Right.
This is where considering the type of meal plan you're on is very important, because if it's something that's super, super strict and you can only eat certain foods and you can only eat at certain times, or whatever reason that might be, that may not work if you are a hustle and bustle person.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of my guys who are in hotels and they're always in planes, trains, and automobiles, they're like, dude, I can't get 6 meals in. And even the number of meals, because that's part of your meal plan. They're like,
Right.
it's just not going to work. Cool. We'll take that same amount of food, make it 4 meals.
Right.
Your plan should be adaptable. And your plan should also not leave you crazy stressed, because if it does,
You're not gonna
that
do
means
it.
that exactly you're less likely to do it and something needs to change. So your lifestyle is important. Remember, if you want to have fun on the weekends, build that into the plan. Don't make it Monday through Friday, I'm good. Saturday, Sunday, let's have at it. It's party time. Not
Right.
going to work.
And another big obstacle about choosing the right diet plan for you too that I get with my women that are over 40 is, you know, alcohol really comes into play also. And, you know, a lot of diets or most diets or meal plans, lifestyle plans, you know, alcohol is something that really needs to be reined in, because a lot of people drink wine every night. And that's really going to make weight loss difficult. It's going to slow it down for lots of different reasons. So that's another thing you really need to look at is, you know, being able to make sacrifices. Because if you want to have success, you're going to have to give up some things, maybe for a little while, not forever, but in order to get a desired result, you may have to, you know, pare the drinking back, bring the wine back, maybe 1 glass on the weekend or something like that. But it's definitely, it can definitely be a deterrent to weight loss.
Exactly. Now, arguably the most important part, up there with writing down your goals and knowing what they are and being very specific about them, is your meal plan needs to be sustainable. And we just touched on that a little bit, but sustainability is the key to success. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just like when you have a career, right? It's not that you want to work a job this week and then you quit it, and then you get another job next week, you quit it. That just makes for a hectic life. And the same thing with your body and with keeping a healthy body and keeping yourself sane. Right. Your diet has to be, your meal plan, has to be sustainable. If you can't see yourself doing this for 6 months, 12 months, a year, a year's 12 months, right, indefinitely, then you really need to reconsider, are you crash dieting?
Right.
Or is this a lifestyle you're creating? Because that's what we're trying to do, help you create a lifestyle for yourself. To the point where if you want to put on weight, meaning gain muscle mass, or if you want to burn body fat, you should only have to make small adjustments to the meal plan. You're skating on the midline if you're just staying healthy and keeping your weight, maintaining your weight. Right. If it's time to cut, we drop a little bit of, drop the calories by a small amount. If it's time to put on weight, you can add calories, but it shouldn't have to be some crazy revamp and now life is all hectic because the diet is totally different from what it was before. And the other thing is...
And you're stressed out.
Exactly, and exactly that. And I mentioned that before, is stress. Mm-hmm. If your diet stresses you, and this is something that I'm just going to take a second to rant about this, is everyone expects either when you do it on your own or you start with a coach that all these great things are going to happen immediately.
Right.
And I tell people, I'm like, if you didn't get the way you are overnight, it's not going to change overnight. And by you being stressed, I've had clients, I remember this one woman. She was a ball of stress. Part of it was her job. Part of it was just her perception on life.
Right.
What have you. Cortisol was always through the roof, right? Heart rate was elevated. Was always asking, why am I not losing weight? Why am I not losing weight? I'm like, you have to calm down.
Right.
You've got to just trust the process, go with the flow. We worked on some meditations, listening to music to try to get her more calm, because when you're very, very stressed, your cortisol, and I bring this up because, again, thinking of my businessmen who are type A, always got to be in control. Things got to happen my way. I got things to do. I'm not getting sleep. I'm jacked up on coffee. When you are stressed, you're not creating a great environment for your body to lose weight. So you go on this meal plan thinking, all right, I'm just going to stick to the plan and crush it. And then time goes by, not losing weight. Time goes by, not losing weight. So dial back to this woman. I had her make time for herself during the week, just for her. I'm like, we got to figure out a way for you to calm down and just relax, enjoy life, get some of the stress out of you. The week after, and oddly enough, she happened to go on vacation right after that normal family vacation. It sort of all worked out together. She started making time for herself only one day a week, and it was only for 30 minutes. That's all I wanted. I'm like, I know you got a family to take care of. I know you got things going on. Give yourself 30 minutes.
Right. 30 minutes can do a lot.
She went away on vacation and dropped 10 pounds of water.
Right.
That is a sign right there that cortisol is through the roof.
Absolutely.
She was like, oh my God, I was peeing all day, every day. And I'm like, yes, that's all the water coming out of you that you're holding on to because of stress. And guess what happened after that? She started losing weight. Then what was interesting is when she came back from vacation, what did she put right back on? That water weight. Because she got back into the hustle and bustle. Now, this is an extreme circumstance.
Right.
But many people...
10 pounds is a lot.
Yeah. Many people lie somewhere within that realm. Maybe not so high on the spectrum as she did, but you got to consider these things because if you're losing a pound a week, or that's your goal, and you're really stressed, that might drop to half a pound. And that could stop sometimes. Right. You know, depending on what's going on in your life. So
when cortisol will directly hold fat on your midsection anyways, it's going to keep that belly fat right there. It's interesting also too, to your story, you know, with a lot of the women that I deal with, you know, many people and men too, they'll get on their program and the first week they may drop 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. So like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, they're pumped up, they're ready. They're like, this is great. And I'll always say to them, look, this is awesome, but 5 pounds, this isn't going to happen every week. So accept that right now. Like, don't be deflated next week if you don't lose anything or you lose a pound or half a pound, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people lose, you lose when you cut your food, cut your carbs back a little bit, you'll lose water also because your body stores water with carbohydrates. So you may see a big drop that first week, but it's not going to be that's definitely not going to be your result every week. It's just not going to happen. So people also need to understand that because I've seen people do that and then get deflated and be like, oh my God, I didn't lose anything this week. Or then they start checking the scale every day. And I said, don't do that because you're not going to drop a pound every single day. You're not going to change that much day to day. Once a week, pick your day that you're going to weigh in, same time of the day, same clothing, same place, same scale, whatever. Don't use a scale in the gym and then a scale somewhere else. But you need to understand that sometimes you'll lose a lot in the first week, but that's not going to be every week.
Exactly. And a great analogy, at least I think it's great, is look at your weight loss almost like the stock market, right? So the coup de grace of the stock market is grab and hold, right? You get that investment and you hold on to it for the long term. Now there's going to be peaks and troughs, right? It might go up one day and it's like, oh, well, maybe I should sell or maybe I should buy. No. You wait it out. And you take a step back and look at the big picture. And if you lose a bunch of weight the first week, which often happens at initial drop, oftentimes you lose inflammation because you're eating better quality foods. You might relax because now you're happy that you're on a plan and you're feeling real good about life.
Right.
And then, like Linda said, then the real weight loss starts to happen where it's like maybe a pound a week, maybe a pound and a half, maybe 2, depends on the individual. And that's another thing is don't have crazy expectations that you're going to drop 3 pounds a week or all these BS commercials, which I hate. They make me so angry. Oh, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. All that crap, juice cleanses. Anyways, I digress.
That's another podcast.
Yes. Take a step back. Let's say, okay, let's look at this month as a whole. What is the goal for this month? Okay, 4 pounds this month. That's realistic.
Okay, yeah.
The first week, you might get 2 pounds.
Right.
You might get 2.5. The second week, you might get half a pound. The third week, you might jump up another pound. The body has an ebb and flow. It's not a pound every week. Yes, that often does happen with clients, but not everybody. And that might be you. So you need to trust the process. Make sure you find yourself a good coach like Linda or I. Yes, I said it. We are great coaches.
Yes, we are.
And another thing is, well, again, this is another podcast too, but I'm not even going to go into that topic. It was going to be a little bit about interviewing your coach. But anyways, you should just stay calm, do the work, and give yourself a little bit of time. You didn't put on the weight overnight. You can't expect it to come off. Your body takes time to do things that you want it to do. And if you're stressed, it's going to be slower. If life is going great, it might be faster. You're going to have ups and downs just like that stock market. But you hold on to the investment, and after a long period of time, if you do things correctly, you will get what you want out of it.
And back to the topic of choosing the right diet for you. You really, there are so many options out there, and I don't need to list them all because you all that are listening probably already know Paleo, Keto, Atkins, South Beach, Whole30. There's so many of them. I probably don't even know them all myself, but it really comes down to eating a balanced meal plan every day. I don't believe really, unless you're doing a bodybuilding competition and you're doing something completely different or you're training for something. But if you're a normal, regular, general population kind of person, cutting out all carbs, Christian, you get this question, I'm sure, and I get it a lot too. Should I just cut out carbs, all carbs, because they're bad, right? And, and then we go into the whole discussion of, there are different types of carbs. Yes, some aren't good, some are good. But cutting out a whole food group like that, can leave you feeling not so good. So you really have to think about the program that you pick. If you need some carbs and you need that energy, I know I do, a keto might not be for you. And you want to make sure you're doing it right too, because I've talked to a lot of people that have gone on keto that have actually put weight on. It's not just to eat all the fat that you want every day. That's not the program. So it does come down to finding someone that's versed in all these different types of programs and discussing them with you, and then picking something that you really can manage. You could do a lower carb type diet without cutting out all carbs together. Don't you agree, Christian? I think you're just setting yourself up for failure if you put yourself on something that is going to be kind of brutal. If this is going to be really hard, might not be the best option for you.
Yes, and a lot of these diets, these labeled diets, right? It's almost like being on an NFL team. I'm on this team. I'm paleo. What are you doing, bro? Yeah. Well, I'm keto. Yeah, well, your diet's wrong. Mine's better. Hey, are either of you losing weight?
Right.
No.
I can eat all the bacon and eggs I want, so there.
God, I can't tell you. I've actually heard that lots of times.
I know.
So the other thing is you can create stress for yourself by claiming a team. I am keto. Well, why? Is it because you saw it on a magazine, or your favorite athlete was doing it,
or your neighbor lost 30 pounds on keto?
Yeah, or now you think it's perfect for you. And that's another great point, is that because everyone's body's different diets are going to work better for different people. I've had clients come to me and say they did keto, and they're like, hey, I lost 25 pounds. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yep.
And then it stopped.
Right.
And I changed a whole bunch of things and nothing worked. I'm like,
right.
Well, that often happens. You drop your calories, you get a result, but again, not sustainable. Right. And I'm like, how did you feel on that? Well, I really love carbs. I'd love to eat them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we put them back on carbs, and guess what came off? More weight.
Right.
And guess what they were? Happier. And guess what else they were?
Yeah.
Less stressed.
Exactly.
So,
and sleeping better probably too.
Yeah, or it's like when someone says, I'm on the Mediterranean diet. Oh, so you mean you eat olive oil, fish, and lean meats like everyone else does.
Right.
So basically you're just eating healthier.
And good fibers and good things.
And rather than, again, looking at these magazines and trying to go back and forth between which team should I be on.
Right.
Just think, I want to eat healthy. What foods will allow me to do that? And that's your lean meats, your beef, your fish, your chicken, the same things everyone else eats, right?
Grass-fed, wild caught, all those things.
Your carbs that should be eaten in the same form that they come from the ground. Your rices, your potatoes, your oatmeals, your quinoas, fill in the blank. Your healthy fats, almonds, avocados, cashews, walnuts, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Everyone can eat these things. Now, if you have food sensitivities, that's different.
Right.
But then you stay away from those foods. But it's not that I have to be FODMAP. I have to be this. Sometimes you might have a sensitivity from only one food on the quote-unquote FODMAP diet. Doesn't mean you can't eat any FODMAPs. I'll give myself as an example. I can eat plenty of FODMAPs, except garlic. Garlic, it inflames me. I get a fermented feeling in my stomach. I fart a lot. Yep, I said it. I fart a lot.
It's true. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not pretty.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not. But there's plenty of other FODMAPs that I can eat with no problems. So, sometimes you can limit yourself on the foods that you eat, and you can stress yourself out because you claim this team. And then sometimes you can end up with nutrient deficiencies. I've seen people, God help them, but do juice cleanses. I'm just going to live off liquid for the next 30 days. 2 days in, they're binge eating. Oh, I couldn't do it. I'm like, exactly, because
I just had this pretzel. That's all it was. It was just one pretzel.
We're not meant to live off liquids. That's why we have a long digestive tract. So solid food can spend its time getting digested and all the nutrients get taken out. These are things that you have to consider, but more so just think, I want to eat healthy. What foods will allow me to do that? I don't need to claim a team. I just need to eat healthy foods.
And feel satisfied.
Correct.
You should look forward to your meals and enjoy your meals. It shouldn't be like, oh God, I got to eat this again. Or, I got to make this juice thing again. Or I've got to, whatever it is. Like, you should sit down and have a meal that you enjoy and that you feel good about afterwards and you feel energetic. It's not like, oh my God, I overate. Or, or I'm starving because I'm only allowed to have, this lettuce and a carrot. So you want to make sure that you're feeling satisfied when you eat and that you have energy to keep going, because not eating enough is only going to slow your metabolism down. And then that's a whole nother problem with trying to lose weight. So pick a good balanced lifestyle with activity, with exercise. Exercise is definitely a part of choosing the right meal plan for you too. You want to make sure that you're fueling enough to be able to perform what you want to do. So if you want to also start lifting weights, you're going to need some energy to start pushing and pulling weights. If you're running, it just all depends on your activity level too. So pick a good balanced lifestyle program that makes you feel energetic, good, you sleep great, and you just feel optimal. That's really the best plan for you.
Yes, is the plan you'll actually follow, and that allows some wiggle room. And I'm going to bring this up because I worked at Equinox. I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast.
You worked at Equinox?
Yeah, for 6 years, and my God, the things that I saw, or I should say heard, there were so many people that would, you'd have the random individual that would do Soul Cycle 6 days a week and also do kickboxing and also do bar class.
Right.
And I'm on the 800 calorie a day diet.
Right.
And when you see them, they've got the raccoon eyes and they're always tired.
Right.
And, but I'm just going to keep going. I know that pound's going to come
pale.
off. And
Usually
it's been
pale.
6 months. I'm like, the pound's not going to come off because there's nothing to take from. You're eating 800 calories. I just heard of a woman recently, this is actually within the last probably a week and a half, where I know her trainer, and she had told her trainer, I heard about this diet. I don't know who made it up, or I should say went on it, whatever. But they're like, oh, you just do 600, it makes me laugh, 600 calories a day for 30 days, and you're just going to lose weight. Now, this woman is about 57 years old. And again, this is going to be a whole nother podcast, but let's talk about the word sarcopenia, right? At 57 years old, it's already hard to maintain the muscle that you have. Now you're going to go 600 calories, guarantee. I will just guarantee, even without putting her in any tests in the lab,
right?
She's going to lose muscle, and it's going to be twice as hard to put it back on. And she's going to get skinny fat, and but anyways,
600 calories isn't much.
Don't let yourself fall victim to these hacks. We have a diet hack. If you just drop your calories and just it should be hack. I'm eating healthy. You know what? I'm eating enough where I feel energized on a daily basis. I'm not lethargic at work. I can recover from my workouts. I can perform in the gym. That's important.
Right. Yes.
If you go on hikes, let's say you go on hikes with your family a couple days a week, but you're trying to do super low calories and you're also working out in the gym. You're setting yourself up for failure.
And you're not going to be much fun to be around either.
Exactly.
You're probably going to be pretty damn cranky.
Exactly.
I know I would be.
Exactly. And this is where it's important that I know a lot of us like to do things on our own. Mm-hmm. Consult a nutritionist. Consult someone who's an expert in the field. And just even if you don't work with them, just ask, hey, what do you think of this meal plan? Do you think this is something that makes sense for my lifestyle?
Right.
They might tell you, no. Okay, great.
Right.
You have any recommendations? All right, try this, this, and this. Bingo. And that might make things better for you. But trying to beat a dead horse and you're not losing the weight. And, you know what? Instead of dialing back and adding a little more food and getting yourself less or reducing your stress, you're like, I'm going to do more cardio and I'm going to work out harder. And you end up burning the candle at both ends and you don't get anywhere.
And I know that you and I both agree on this. Trying to give a client, when writing a meal plan, as much food as possible and have them lose weight. Mm-hmm. And I know you get this also. Whenever I pass a program on to a client, many, many times I'll hear them say, well, this is so much food. And my reply to them is just give me 2 weeks. We're going to check in every few days. You will be very happy. Let's just see how your body responds. Trust me. We're going to watch you closely. Nothing, you're not going to put on a ton of weight. Let's just see what happens. And I would say 9 times out of 10 that they lose weight. And they're floored. They're like, oh my God, I'm eating all this food and I'm losing weight. This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel great, and they don't have sugar cravings. After about a week or two, the sugar cravings start to go away. And it's amazing. And it always makes me so happy to see that, because people just have this preconceived notion that they've got to cut calories low, or cut out all carbs, or cut out all fats, or whatever it is, whatever the buzzword is that day. But you don't have to do that. And you can eat carbohydrates and lose weight. You don't need to feel like ass, for lack of a better word, and have no energy, like you said, and not be able to go hiking or perform in the gym or whatever it is, or be with your kids and not be yelling at them because you're a crankpot because you're starving. But then you go home and you're in the cabinets looking for whatever because you just need your body wants some fast energy. So, trust in your coach, trust in the research that you do. Eating is not the devil. It's just what you're eating, when you're eating, and how active your lifestyle is.
Exactly. So remember, when you're picking what foods you should eat and how you should eat, consider your lifestyle.
Right.
First and foremost, set your goals, make sure they're specific, and make sure your plan is sustainable.
And feel free to reach us, Christian or myself. If you have any questions, we are always happy to answer questions about anything, like we said, health, wellness, and everything in between. So feel free to reach out.
Exactly. And we actually want you guys to reach out and tell us about topics that you want to learn more about.
Absolutely.
We want to know what you want to learn about, what you want to hear about, and what you want us to discuss on here, whatever it might be, because we want your questions answered.
Yes, and we want you to tell your friends to listen to our podcast also. So
exactly. Tell everybody,
share
your
the
friends,
news.
family. And until next time, eat healthy.
See you later.